Halloween is often associated with fun and frivolity, but there have been several devastating events that have occurred on this day throughout history. In this video, we will take a closer look at a few examples of these events and discuss the impact they had on the people and communities involved. The Spanish flu pandemic. The Spanish flu pandemic was one of the deadliest events in human history, killing an estimated 50 million people worldwide. In the United States, October 1918 was the deadliest month of the pandemic, with nearly 200,000 people dying. On Halloween of that year, the United States reported over 2,000 deaths from the flu. The end of the deadliest month of the Spanish flu was a welcome relief, but the pandemic was not over. The virus continued to circulate for several more years, and it caused another wave of deaths in the winter of 1918 to 1919. However, the second wave was not as deadly as the first, and the pandemic finally subsided by the spring of 1919. The sinking of the USS Reuben James. On October 31, 1941, the USS Reuben James was sunk by a German U-boat in the North Atlantic Ocean. The ship was part of a convoy escorting Allied ships to England and was the first U.S. Navy ship to be sunk in World War II. The ship was sunk by a torpedo fired from the German U-boat U-552. The torpedo hit the Reuben James on the port side, near the forward magazine. The explosion from the torpedo ignited the magazine, causing a massive explosion that broke the ship in half. The Reuben James sank within minutes of the explosion. Of the 149 crewmen aboard, 100 were killed. The survivors of the sinking were rescued by other ships in the convoy. The sinking of the USS Reuben James was a significant event in the lead-up to the United States' entry into World War II. The attack came just over a month before the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, and it helped to galvanize public support for the war. The sinking of the Reuben James also had a significant impact on the U.S. Navy's anti-submarine warfare tactics. Before the attack, the Navy had been reluctant to engage U-boats in open waters. However, after the Reuben James was sunk, the Navy began to take a more aggressive approach to anti-submarine warfare. 1963 accidental propane gas explosion. On Halloween night in 1963, a propane gas explosion killed 74 people and injured nearly 400 at the Indiana State Fairgrounds Coliseum in Indianapolis. It was the deadliest disaster in the city and state's history. The explosion occurred during the opening night performance of the Holiday on Ice skating exhibition. Over 4,000 people were in the arena at the time. The propane gas had leaked from a rusty tank in the concession area. The gas filled the unventilated room and ignited when it came into contact with an electric popcorn machine. The blast was devastating. A 50-foot column of flame shot up through the roof of the arena. Concrete chunks and body parts rained down. Many people were crushed or buried under debris. Emergency crews rushed to the scene, but they were quickly overwhelmed by the magnitude of the disaster. The Coliseum's ice rink was converted into a temporary morgue. The Halloween blizzard of 1991. The Halloween blizzard of 1991 was a powerful nor'easter that struck the northeastern United States on October 31st of that year. The storm brought heavy snow, high winds, and coastal flooding, causing widespread damage and power outages. Over 24 inches of snow fell in some areas, and the storm caused an estimated $1 billion in damage. The Halloween blizzard of 1991 was one of the worst blizzards to hit the northeastern United States in recent history. The storm was caused by a combination of factors, including a cold front from Canada, a warm front from the Gulf of Mexico, and a low-pressure system over the Atlantic Ocean. The storm began on October 30th, when heavy snow began to fall in parts of the Midwest. The snow spread to the northeastern United States on October 31st, and by the afternoon, the storm was in full swing. Winds gusted up to 70 miles per hour, and snow fell at a rate of up to 3 inches per hour. The blizzard also caused significant property damage. Trees were downed, power lines were snapped, and roofs collapsed. The storm also caused coastal flooding, which damaged homes and businesses along the coast. The devastating events that occurred on Halloween have had a profound impact on the people and communities involved. They have caused widespread loss of life and destruction, and they have left a lasting legacy of grief and trauma. These events have also led to significant changes in society. For example, the Spanish flu pandemic led to the development of new vaccines and public health measures. The sinking of the USS Reuben James helped to galvanize public support for war in the United States. The Coliseum explosion led to changes in fire safety regulations. It is important to remember the devastating events that occurred on Halloween so that we can learn from them and prevent similar tragedies from happening in the future.